So let me give you a sense of why we decided this was a good idea or why the campus needed this. All of our programming for the coming year is fundamentally based upon the interviews that I did, and some of you I interviewed for my project. 81 interviews. I think I interviewed 80 people and a couple of people in 2 capacities. From President Moon Choi down to the department chairs, with the people who assess faculty performance, and the 4 people who last chaired the campus tenure promotion committee. That was 31 folks. All the other interviews were with people who were NTT, probationary tenure track, associate professors, full professors, right at 50 folks. So 80 interviews about all aspects of faculty development. And one of the areas that caused us concern was comments about mentoring. Some departments do it really, really well. I learned that quickly. Some departments, no matter who I talk to, do it really, really well. One of them is your department. High marks from the folks in your department. And it's largely, I got the sense it's largely informal. People just walking up and down the hallway saying, hey, I need help with X, and everybody helps out. Some departments do it formally. Mechanical and aerospace has a formal mentoring process. For probationary faculty, they have a team of research mentors and a team of teaching mentors. And both teams give a report to the chair at the end of the year before the chair does his annual evaluation of those faculty members. So and all the other departments that do it well are in between those 2 ways of doing it. Then there's some departments where mentoring is absent because of the toxicity in those departments. And then there are some departments where the mentoring is on balance good, but there was some concern expressed by associate professors who said, I really don't know what I need to be doing to become a full professor. And I get a hint of it from my annual review from my chair, and my chair is very good, they would say, but I really don't have a strong sense what I need to be doing to become a full professor. So that was one indicator we needed to do this. And then the other indicator was, during the course of the last academic year, 8 different people made appointments with me for mentoring, because I'm associated with CAFE. From 2nd year NTT to full professors to a sitting department chair. Confidential mentoring. And I thought, this is telling me something. And there's people from both colleges that were coming to me, that there's something missing in faculty development. So we had, when did we do the webinar on?
In January.
Yeah, we did a webinar, which was really helpful. 2 professors from BYU. Some of you were there. I thought that was quite good. And we began to think about how do we come up with a process that's going to help our campus with our particular needs. And we came up with this concept of master mentors. And one of them, damn it, left.
Who's that?
He retired and left. That Yin Fa Ma, what are we going to do with that guy?
Yes.
He would have been wonderful. But he left. So let's go through some, I think everybody's got an agenda. We're going to walk our way through this, and we've got just a handful of slides that are going to help us here, which Abby put together for us. And this is kind of our concept of what we hope will happen in the next few years with this program. We're kicking this open to everybody who's a faculty. They can be a person teaching one course. They can be NTT, they can be a full professor, everybody. Because Provost Marley has made it clear that CAFE exists for faculty from hire to retire. That's for everybody. And this is going to be all voluntary, and I'm going to guess most of these mentees will want this to be confidential. I think that's going to be a key element. They'll come to Bob Schwartz and the understanding that it's only between them and Bob. And it may be a really critical piece that's, dynamic in their department, and they just don't want the chair to know they're going outside talking to somebody, or they don't think there's anybody in their department that's willing to help them with their next grant proposal or developing a new course. We don't want you going after people. Hey, you need a mentor. You're the available resource. You may say, I think Charlie needs a mentor. Well, it's really not up to you to go knock on the door and say, I can really help you. They'll come to you if they need help. And even if departments have really good mentoring programs, there still may be a need for someone to get an outside the department perspective, particularly if they're thinking about going up for tenure promotion. They may have heard everything that they thought was cogent from their chair and their senior colleagues, but maybe they want to talk to Wayne, who's been the most recent chair of the campus tenure promotion committee, who would have a more global perspective on what happens at the campus level, or somebody who was on an area committee. So people who go outside the department, it's not a statement that their department is not doing a good job as a mentor. We're hoping that you will serve a 2-year term, that you'll enjoy it enough that you want to do it for 2 years, and we leave the door open at the end. Well, I think I heard Wayne say at one of our steering committee meetings, we engineers believe that if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So if it's working for you, there's no need to say, well, we got to replace Dan now. He's done his 2-year term. So we leave that open at the end. What we are hoping, we understand that the first semester in particular is going to be this experiment. Things that we did not anticipate, problems with mentoring, that we need to come together at the end of each semester at a function like this and talk about challenges that you encountered, suggestions that you have on how we can do this better. Maybe you heard of another university, they were doing it this way, and maybe we ought to try that. But we hope that will be a good learning session for us in Cafe. By the way, does everybody know the 4 people in Cafe? Everyone know Diane, Tag 9, Abby Big? Okay. Wayne and I very quickly found out that if anything's going to get done, it's Diane and Abby. Because we come in, we have a staff meeting today at 2. And Wayne and I go to the meeting, we see the agenda, and we just start talking. Because both of us we just start talking, and Diane and Abby will kind of keep us on track. Well, actually, we need to finish this week because if we don't, the following thing will not happen. So if things work well in Cafe, it's because of Diane and Abby. There's no question about it. Although they're very nice. They don't tell us to shut up. They just kind of guide us in the right direction. Thank you. We're really excited about all these folks and are eager to hear from everybody. And we hope everybody stays in this for the 2 years and perhaps longer. And you see the good balance between the colleges, and so you got PhD programs and bachelor's degree terminal programs and MA terminal programs. So we have a really good mix of folks from across the campus. And you can see, when you see the names, you associate some excellence with each person. And just immediately, you see that name, you go, oh, I know that person because of. So that's why we picked you guys. And Diane and Abby said Wayne and I also have to participate. I'm not sure that's a good idea, but
It's a horrible idea.
we thought a good way to kick off the discussion, and we don't want to spend the next hour listening to Larry. This is the results of a survey. This is the University of Missouri Faculty Scholars Program. Kelvin Erickson has been associated with this for a long, long time. It was put on hold this year. There is no Faculty Scholars Program for this coming year. But they did a survey with what are your struggles? This is 55 participants. And we had an appropriate number in this, and Kelvin assures us that what you see up here, it's all of the 55, but he says it reflects what you've heard from the S&T people as well.
Could you, what is institutional?
Yeah, I'm going to break these down into pieces. I want you to see the overall slide first. Altogether, 239 struggles they identified. I think that came out to 4.5 struggles per person. And they're in these various categories. Does the first result, is that surprising to you that they struggle the most with teaching?
A little, yeah.
That's what we do our most.
But we come in with the least amount of training.
Yeah. Any other surprises up there? And we're going to break down what institutional means here in just a minute.
Promotion seems low to me, that would be a concern or struggle or issue.
Yeah. Well, when we dig down a little further, Bob, it's going to be part of the institutional culture that they're trying to understand. Then they got specific. And here there are specific challenges with teaching. And the reason I'm showing you this is that these are the things they may come to you with. So you'll have an expectation of what you're going to encounter. I'm not exactly sure what they collectively meant by innovative teaching approaches. Any thoughts?
Could be simple as using Canvas or the digital things.
Technology.
Technology, yes.
Well, they break use of technology is down a little bit lower.
But on the other hand, I mean, I want to put a positive spin on this. I'm glad they're struggling with innovative teaching approaches.
Because
Because I think they're trying. They're trying to be innovative, yeah.
That they're genuinely interested in what best practices are, but they don't know what those best practices are, and they're not sure of the resources available to them to discover those best practices.
And as Joan just said, most of us don't come to this trained as teachers.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure how many departments actually have their candidates for a position actually give a class. Any of your departments do that? Do you have them make a research presentation that they teach a class?
For teaching professors, yes. For
How about tenure track?
tenure track, no.
we do,
Research presentation, but not a,
we do teaching demo in our department, yes we do.
it's a good idea.
So that it's kind of a given they're going to know how to teach for
But
many
it's
departments.
not,
But clearly,
I have not found that to be the case.
they have struggled with that. I was kind of intrigued by the last one. Almost everybody's satisfied with the classroom size. They don't think like they're overwhelmed with too many students. It's intriguing. Now, Marissa, this is the institutional piece. I just don't know the culture of the campus. And then, Abby, do you have a sense of what that bottom right is? Because it breaks it down into tenure promotion, 24%.
What do you mean?
I looked at that this morning, and is that part of,
This is all part of
So
that
institutional
38.
knowledge is that top
and 24% is tenure promotion.
24% of those institutional knowledge.
So that gets to your question, Bob.
So it's a bigger number, it's just kind of in a different category.
Which really tells us that we've got to continue doing in the first year faculty program a good explanation of tenure promotion procedures on our campus. I think we hit them with it last year 3 times. In fact, the last session was about tenure promotion again. Thank you, Dr. Miller, you were there. Talk about NTT expectation.
But sometimes it becomes actually more relevant as they get further along. I mean, in their first year, they're just struggling to keep their head above water. And so a lot of that stuff, they're not ready to assimilate.
Do you know anything at third year review, Larry? Through cafes, do you know anything about P&T at third year review time? That might be another logical place to think about doing something.
No. One thing I did learn in the interviews, because I asked about the third year review, and there's a split in the 2 colleges. College of Art, Science, and Business is pretty satisfied with the third year as the appropriate year for the review, but in the College of Engineering and Computing, there's kind of a division. Some people want 2 probationary faculty reviews, one the second year, one the fourth year. But the argument being that the first one ought to be this kind of supportive, with you, here are all the resources that we have, and in the fourth year, if you're not doing it, it's kind of, it doesn't look good for you. So I don't know if that, your college is going that direction or not.
It's a good question. One of the challenges I've seen with third year review is sometimes it is not consistent with the annual reviews that have been done to that point. I think a third year review mid-probationary period, in my opinion, is sufficient, but I think you have to have really on target and not candy coated annual reviews, throughout the entire thing. And the biggest concern is when there's a mismatch of PT time and annual reviews in third year.
Yeah, if the individual's gotten a good pat on the back every year, then there's not a good third year review, they're going, wait a minute, what's going on? And my chair said I was doing okay.
Yeah, and I think for us, it's been structuring of goals on those annual reviews. Did you establish goals for the coming year, and then the following year, did you meet them? So we've had conversations about that too.
Other thoughts on this one? A little bit all over the place, but the focus is upon grants and resources and management. I'm assuming that means management of their grants. Does that fit with our campus pretty well? Or is it the challenges for probationary faculty? So you may get some questions on how do I write a better proposal? Who should I go see? This one's everywhere. From what I do with graduate students to my stress level.
What does it mean exactly, selection, 50%?
You accept a student into your group.
How do you accept the
How do you
student
make a
process?
decision
How do
whether you'll take on that
decision
student or
making?
not?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because another thing that I heard in many of the interviews with faculty and PhD granting departments, when I asked, are there any barriers to your development as a researcher? The most common one was, I need a better pool of PhD students. That is the most common one ever. Now, most people say, I have adequate resources, my lab is okay, my chair has been doing a good job giving me release time for my teaching to work on my research, but I just don't have, it's not that they don't have any good PhD students, they don't have enough of them. Is that, I see a lot of people going on this. Not in a PhD granting department, I have no knowledge of that. Is it a minor problem or a big problem?
That's a big problem.
Is it?
Yeah, because actually having a poor student is harder than having no student.
It's a drain on your time and your resources.
So why do we have such a small pool of good PhDs?
Ranking.
Just the competition that's out there. So if we can go someplace else, for a long while before there was the tuition help for graduate students. I mean, Mizzou was offering the tuition help as well as health insurance. Besides him, labs and everything. So if you're a young person, where are you going to go?
Sure.
Well, another issue that probably touches this particular one is the graduate students go through training, and they will, some of them at least, about 100 per semester, are teaching in the other classes. So the quality of the student that we work with at the GTA workshop is also a big issue, and it has been steadily declining over the past 10 years. Yes. The numbers are declining in the quality of student, the level of proficiency in English, and overall, ability to socialize and integrate themselves into a context of a foreign university. So, that is kind of a secondary issue, but again, our pool is the same pool as you guys have as graduate students.
So this is likely something you're going to hear about from mentees. How do I get a good PhD student and how do I manage them, et cetera?
I think there are a variety of pieces of advice that could be given in that area too, Larry. One simple one is if you get invited to give a talk at a different school, go. That is a recruiting trip for you to find other students. And I think we do well in our department, and I think even across campus at keeping some of our very good undergraduates who have graduated and want to stay for grad school. I don't think we do as well elsewhere in the U.S. domestically. We just aren't the household names. The rankings aren't there right now. Some of the finances, as have been discussed, aren't there. But there are some strategies, I think, that individual faculty could adopt, and probably that the campus could adopt as well.
So in that regard, I'm thinking of the new crop of faculty we're going to meet on August the 16th, who are going to be in PhD granting departments. What are the expectations going to be for them for research? Pick a department, anyone at random, whether it be material science or civil or mechanical aerospace, electrical. What are the expectations? We want you to do what?
Well, in engineering, I know this is different in humanities and social sciences, but in engineering, our expectation is, you're tenured on your gradient, you're slow. So this is not steady state, but we expect them to be publishing in high-quality peer-reviewed journals, probably on the order of, I would say, 3 journal articles a year. We expect them to be able to show that they can get funded research. That dollar figure, of course, depends on the department. Some departments are able to get more funding than others. We expect them to show good teaching. And we expect them to have some nominal level of service in their professional society.
So where does the graduates, the PhD student factor in?
Well, in order to get the publications, you have to be able to have work. And primarily the faculty become more or less, project managers as opposed to doing the research themselves. So you need good students who can go out, who can work independently, who can problem solve on their own, and we truly are just advisors. We give them advice, but we expect them to be able to do the research.
So this is a whole new skill set.
It's a mentor-mentee relationship as well. And the other way I've heard it described is we would expect them to be able to close the loop, get the funding, educate the students and carry out their research, work with the students. Hopefully the student might even first author the paper, get the student graduated, and then continue. And there's not an expectation of one single thing. They don't expect just publication or just external support. There's an expectation to do something in each of those areas.
I'm guessing we're going to have people with questions on this. So we've got the right cast of characters. Good. Any other thoughts on that one?
We do any training for incoming tenure track faculty for working with the students or managing those students? Because I've seen a lot that I'm like, okay, well, and I've talked to them about different tools they could use for managing. But is that?
I think it's very case by case, department by department, as Larry
So
said.
there's not
There have been some talks that were given historically in what used to be freshman faculty forum on that topic. I don't know that those were comprehensive enough, okay, but I don't think we do enough of it, Joe. That's my guess. And I think not only sometimes can the faculty members suffer, there are instances certainly where the student also suffers them as well and struggles needlessly, because with some more education, I think everyone would profit.
Yeah, and I think it is difficult on both sides to state what reasonable expectations are. The biggest problems I think that we see is when the expectations of the student do not meet the expectations of the faculty. So there has to be clear delineation on both sides of what those expectations are. And they have to be reasonable. Sometimes they're unreasonable, and that obviously is going to lead to problems.
We did have one session last year, and I think it was the second day of new faculty. It didn't go as well as we hoped. we did have one session.
I'm just thinking like templates for contracts, so that you can sit down with your students and say, these are my expectations. You can have templates that they can fill out so they can kind of have a clue. I mean, if they had never thought about that, they might not do something like that.
But the problem is we often hire students before they get here.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
And so, you know, if you're hiring someone from overseas, it's very hard to,
That's true.
you know, to have that level of discussion before. You know, it really does have to be, you know, a give and take on both sides.
Some other categories they struggle with. Not sure what they meant by faculty relationships. Do people in their department scare them?
Collegiality issue.
Is that over at the end of the hallway? You just don't go to that end of the hallway because you don't want to encounter that person? So you may get some questions. How do I negotiate that? How do I avoid the troll in my department? Do I sit by them in the department meeting, or do I say hello to them, or what do I do?
Well, what happened, so you said that, you know, that you came to the understanding that there were some toxic departments
Yes.
on campus. What happens if a new faculty member ends up in one of these? What resources can we provide them that they're not getting?
I think this is where
To come to us.
I think this where this group is going to be essential for them to go and just have someone listen to them. Say, here are my challenges, and I don't know what to do. When I listen to people, there were two departments in particular. First, I thought, Christ Almighty, I'm glad I've been working that department. But secondly, you know, they were almost begging for help. And I waited till the interview was over, because you don't intrude your own thoughts in the interview. That's not the way you do an interview. Then afterwards, I sort of did play mentor and made some suggestions. But I'm guessing you're going to encounter some people who, when they realize this service is available, they may send you an email saying, I've got some problems in my department, I don't know who you talk to. And those are the ones you really do have to keep confidential. I mean, you could wrestle me to the floor and say, which two departments are you talking about? I will not tell you.
again.
I will not tell you which two they are. Good question, but you're likely to get some people who come from departments where the atmosphere is just not supportive. Luckily, most departments are the other way. Most people said, I don't have any complaints about my department. I have a good chair, senior colleagues are helpful. Luckily, it's only two. These are some other categories. Not many of them get more than one or two mentions. So again, that was just kind of to help you get some expectation of what you might encounter when people come knock on your door. Thoughts or questions you want to pose to Wayne or Abby or Diane, me about that? Yes.
Do you have any sense of how many faculty might respond in the first semester or first year? Given the fact that, you know, you said you already have had 8 encounters with faculty who made appointments with you and we didn't even officially launch the program yet. So is there any sense of what you might expect?
Well, one, Wayne and I had a meeting with the provost, I think it's a week tomorrow. I'm going to urge him to release my report. It's been in his hands for 6 weeks. That would be the first blush, indicating, because it's going to identify all of our programs for the coming year. And Wayne's going to be at the academic affairs retreat talking about our programs for the coming year. He will order all of the department chairs. And then we probably need to do a pretty good job of promoting this to e-connection and identifying who everybody is on that list and the areas that they're willing to chat with folks about. We need to do a good job of promoting. So, and believe me, we'll talk about it. We have how many new faculty?
27.
27.
27. Although, in fairness, once Thomas Boyd, he's not new. I don't know why he's on the list.
But he's a new chair.
He's a new chair. And there is a visiting distinguished professor who's here for 1 year.
But abroad.
And then
Is that the
a
one?
new chair of chemistry.
Yeah, abroad.
So I think 24 actual new faculty.
New faculty, okay.
And we'll be telling them about you folks. Good question.
So Larry, one other thought might be, this would be a great slide to be shared at departmental meetings. And I just wonder if you might, with one other slide, capture what the purpose of the program is, that it's open to not just new faculty, but any faculty, that they don't just have to stay with an advisor within their department, they can talk to someone else. And maybe if each department did that, we might get some more interest from some others who've been here for a while.
Yeah, I think one of the people I talked to has been at SCT more than 20 years. They contacted me, I said, "You be my mentor for a while?" Okay. This person's a great full professor, what do they need my help for? But they had really good questions, and this person came from a good department. They just had some questions, they just wanted to bounce off me some ideas about what they wanted to do. But good thought. If we could get the department chairs to also push this out in some meetings. Other questions or thoughts?
This team serves as a retention tool for faculty. You know, because when I found out Ed was leaving, I was thinking, did anybody know? Could anybody have done something? Could, you know, just have your finger on the pulse of what's going on. And one of the reasons why we wanted to invest resources in everybody is that you have the ability to, hey, let's go out to lunch. You know, hey, let's go do something. And,
Yeah, get off the campus, sometimes that's helpful. I'll take you to lunch in Manera, or I'll take you to lunch somewhere else. That often is very, very useful. Okay. Question here. Everybody have a questionnaire in front of them?
It's the yellow form in your folder.
Yeah. This is a way for us to be more precise when we promote you, to identify, what areas you'd like to talk about. You can check every box, every item you want to, or the ones you feel most comfortable, and that's the way we'll identify you on the cafe website.
We should stick to our areas. It doesn't matter.
Wherever you feel comfortable. It's all going to be confidential. No one's going to know. You're not going to report to us who the people are that came and chatted with you. Unless it's Wayne saying, "How do I get to Larry?"
Might I suggest that we meet more than once a semester?
Yeah, I was thinking that too.
Because I think, if we start getting people, I may just have one or two people come see me, but they'll have a particular issue. But other people may be seeing the same issue. And if we get together and learn about that, then we might be able to offer.
Like midterm, mid-semester?
Yeah.
best practices between
Yes, that's
between
right.
us,
Yes.
We'll do it.
and what's worked, what hasn't worked, and maybe we find out that each of us needs to have a set of materials that we use our resources to buy, that we can hand out to people. Hey, you might want to read this or this book,
Or even
Go check
see
this out.
what we might want to go to the provost with and say, this is what people are really needing, that might orchestrate change on campus by saying, this is what we're hearing from everybody.
In essence, this whole group is all about demonstrating in spades that we care. I don't want us to be a distant kind of campus. It doesn't care.
I don't remember the code. And we don't have administrative assistants. I will email it to you because I have it in my computer, but I don't have it. I'm just going to make it.
You don't have an administrative assistant?
No.
They'd be fired from like professors.
Oh, okay, so you're going to have
Right.
We will, but right now.
I think it's grounds for
grounds.
dismissal to borrow it.
It's quite difficult.
What color shirts are we getting?
Blue.
Blue.
No shirts yet, but we'll have.
That's right, they're going to be shirts.
I had to convince her, I wanted to call it minor master matter, so we put an M cubed on the
I like
sleeve.
that.
It's kind of an S&T thing.
Do you want to say anything about reporting back to us? It's going to be anonymous, but.
I was going to.
You have to read it.
No,
You have to go?
I have to go to.
Okay, all right, so one thing that we're going to ask you to do probably in the first year, at the end of each semester, just write a report to us on your interactions. We don't want to know who you talk to, but just how many folks, what kind of concerns did they bring, which is another way of getting at what you're talking about. But I do like your idea of meeting more often than once a semester, so we can talk about things. But that will help us as we reshape the program going into the second semester. We have a report in December from everybody. We may need to do more than just fine tune. We may need to make a major shift in what we're doing. Thank you. You want to change your mind?
I would also like to add one thing, because I know I'm struggling with this. I have only one mentee, but I have a mentee who came to me after the spring semester with an issue that I don't feel I'm given adequate. So I'd like you guys as a sounding board, as mentors, to help me be a mentor
Absolutely.
and do that.
Absolutely. And we may refer people to somebody else in the group.
Right, exactly.
That's what-
Exactly.
That was
If they're really, really, really interested in excellent service learning, we'll talk to Joan. Others know some things about it, but she's really wonderful. No, a good point. And we could use maybe those meetings to, again, without identifying who the person is, here's this particular challenge that faculty member A has. How do we help this person? I like that. Good. And the one other piece that Abby included was just kind of some best practices on working with a mentee. A lot of the things that I've seen, almost all the mentoring examples I've seen have to do with teaching. And most of the things that are published don't really deal a lot with research challenges, or service challenges, or leadership challenges. And that's what Provost Marley wants with CAFE. He wants us to be teaching, research, service, leadership for all faculty from higher to retirement.
Yeah, question. What type of records you suggest we maintain when we interact with people?
Thoughts? What kind of records, if you didn't hear the question, what kind of records should you maintain after you've interacted with someone? What do you think, Abby?
What do you?
Well, I was going to ask, why don't you just make up a template?
That's good.
Okay.
And,
Yes.
you know, so we can, you know, when we meet with someone, we can just fill it out and.
I like it.
Yeah, just the same we have for the teaching partners.
Sure.
You fill out the form and it's going to keeps you on track and
Yeah, and then you
creates
can just put it in a
consistency.
folder, and then when you write your report, then you can just refer back.
How about if we come up with a draft and we send it to everybody?
Excellent.
And then
Yes.
you go, wait a minute, that's
Perfect.
worth including, or why didn't you include this? That kind of thing.
So is there a website? There will be a website for this, right?
It's already,
You-
It's already up and
already
running.
One thing we might think about doing there, it would be to create kind of like a resource bank as well. Like, here's a really good book on, you know, administrative challenges. Here's a really good book on STEM teaching. Here's whatever. So maybe just have it linked right there.
I like it.
At the mentoring site.
Break it into categories.
Yeah.
Because we used to bring our favorite books to the faculty scholars meetings.
Oh, okay.
Do you have a bookshelf that people can borrow from?
Yes, it's not very utilized, but we do have resources available.
It's mostly has to do with teaching because it was the certain library, but we can add to it.
I know we discussed the strategies, how we are going to promote this program at the campus level, but as individual department members, are we allowed to inform our departments about availability? Because I think in the fall, a lot of us have faculty retreats, and that would be an excellent way to reach out to everybody in the department.
Sure.
Okay.
Hopefully when you're wearing your shirt, somebody will ask you.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's right. Cool. All right. Any other questions or thoughts? I want to keep you longer than the appointed hour.
We can send our yellow forms back to you, right, Abby?
Kudos to Abby for repurposing her business.
Yes.
What?
For repurposing your business cards, I like that.
Oh,
Yeah.
Instead of just throwing them out and getting new ones.
We told her she was on limited budget. No, she's terrific. All right, thank you, guys. I'm excited about this. This, I'm sure it's.
Well, thank you.
It's good for you guys.
Great.